Hello, good morning and welcome to Monkseaton. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. Today we are on board with Tyne Wear Metro. The plan is we're going to take a look around the system. We'll take a look at the new units, the Class 555s. We'll also take a look at the old units. We'll hop on, we'll hop off. We'll take a look at the two cities that the system serves, as well as other major points of interest, such as Newcastle International Airport, the North and South Shields Ferry and the coastal routes. So with that said, let's head inside the station and wait for our train, and I'll see you a little later on in the video. Bye for now. Hello, good morning everybody and welcome to my hometown of Monkseaton and welcome back to another video. That's right, today we are doing something a little bit different. We're not travelling on a specific journey but taking a day and looking around the Tyne and Wear Metro system. The Tyne and Wear Metro is both an overground and underground light rail rapid transit system serving the 5 local boroughs of Newcastle, Gateshead, North and South Tyneside and Sunderland. The first section of the system was opened on the 11th of August 1980 with multiple extensions opening later to Newcastle Airport in 1991 and to Sunderland and South Hilton in March 2002. By 2013 the network had a total of 60 stations with a mixture of overground and underground across 2 lines covering 77.5 kilometres of track. The present system uses a lot of former railway infrastructure, mostly constructed between 1834 and 1882. 3 older railway lines were converted into metro lines as part of the initial system. These were to be connected by around 6 miles of new infrastructure, including tunnels underneath Newcastle and Gateshead, whilst the remainder was either ground level or elevated. Right, that's enough waffling, let's get ourselves a ticket. All destinations are clearly marked by zones and prices depends on how many zones you cross. There are also 2 types of ticket, a single and a day saver. As I'll be travelling through all zones today, I'll be using a day saver which gives you unlimited travel on Metro. The ticket also gives you access to the Shields Ferry and some local bus and rail services. Although as I am a native, I do use a pop card which gives you discounts, which is similar to TfL's Oyster card. Okay, with ticket in hand, we'll head straight to the platform and wait for the arrival of our first train, whether that be an old one or a new one. Okay, it's an old one, but we'll hop straight on board and get to our first destination, which is Newcastle Airport. These older units date back to when the system first opened in 1980, therefore they are well over 40 years old. But they have been refurbished a number of times throughout the years. Fleet comprises a total of 87 units, commonly known as metro cars, although they are also known as Class 599s. As for onboard, these units are very basic. There's no power, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no toilets, but the seats are fairly comfortable and there's a window which you can open for ventilation. With that said, these units do have one very unique feature, which is the reason why I'll be sad to see them leave, but I'll go into that a little later on in the video. As we approach Northumberland Park and for the next couple of stations, we are in parallel to Northern's new Newcastle to Ashington line, where Northumberland Park itself will eventually become, once built, an interchange between Tyne and Wear Metro and National Rail services. In order for us to get to the airport, we need to change lines, and as South Gosforth is the first interchange station, this is where we'll get off. As luck would have it, the first train for the airport is a brand new British Rail Class 555, an electrical multiple unit. They were manufactured by Standard Rail and constructed between 2021 and the present. They've been in service since December 2024 and have a top speed of 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour. And as of today, 23 out of the 46 units ordered are in service.
Platform 2 is for airport.
The biggest feature in these new units is the one-car layout where you can walk from one end of the train to the other, much more like the London Underground. The doors have light indicators that denote which side of the train you are getting off, and also a good safety feature, the doors also have illuminations to say when it is safe to disembark. There are also digital passenger information screens. The seats themselves are hard but not too bad for a commuter train. They also come with USB charging points. The seat design itself is loosely based on the network map, and dark grey is for standard seating, whilst the light grey seats are for priority seating. There's also designated areas for wheelchair users, bikes and pushchairs. And welcome to Newcastle International Airport. Back on the platform and armed with a nice strong flat white, we shall await the arrival of our next train. So the plan from here is to take the green line from the airport all the way down to Newcastle city centre, where we'll cross over the River Tyne, head east towards Peelaw, and then follow the route all the way down to Seaburn and the Stadium of Light before crossing the River Wear and into Sunderland city centre itself. Now, we did mention earlier in the video that these older units did have a very unique feature. Well, let's hop aboard and find out what it is. Well, you can actually sit at the very front of the train having a driver's eye view. And this is why I'll be sad to see these units go, as I think only the Dockland Light Railway in London offers this type of view in the country. After passing back through South Gosforth and Ilford Road, we approach Jesmond, which is the start of the underground section of the network. The four main underground stations serving Newcastle are Haymarket, which is close to Northumberland Street for shopping, Monument, which is good for Eldon Square shopping, bars, restaurants and cafes, and also Grey Street for the Theatre Royal. St James's, for St James's Park, which is of course home to Newcastle United. Just across the road is the Strawberry, which is one of 174 pubs within a square mile of the stadium. And finally, Central Station. Change here for mainline national rail services to all of the country and as far north as Inverness, south to London, west to Liverpool and Manchester, and southwest to Penzance via Birmingham and Bristol. After Central Station, we pop out into daylight again, but just across the River Tyne via the Queen Elizabeth II Bridge. Construction of the bridge started in 1978 and it was officially opened by the Queen herself on the 6th of November 1981. It's 352.7 metres in length and stands 25 metres above the River Tyne. After crossing the River Tyne, we pull into Gateshead, the first stop on the southern side of the river. The next notable stop is Heworth, which is a national rail and bus interchange. I'd also like to thank my patrons, Mademe Dorothy, Chieli, Dr. Paul Hunter, Gary, Clark, Peter Harrison, Taklo, Stormhammer Firebrand, Ken and John. Your ongoing support is very much appreciated. Thank you very much. After departing Pelaw, we branch off and join up with the national rail route between here and Sunderland. Before arriving into Sunderland, we cross the River Wear on the Monk Wearmouth Bridge. The road bridge to my left is known as the Wearmouth Bridge. Also operating out of the station are Grand Central on their services between here and London. Having spent 7 minutes in Sunderland, it is time to move on to our next stop, which is South Shields. To get there, we need to change lines from green to yellow, and the nearest stop is Pelaw. So with the power of editing, and welcome to Pelaw. The plan from here is to catch the next service down to South Shields, where we're going to catch the ferry across the North Shields. From there, take a look at the coast, and from there, we're going to go to the pub for a pint, because I think I've earned it. I'll see you there. Bye for now. So the plan is to catch a yellow line service down to the coast and South Shields, cross the River Tyne on the ferry to North Shields, and then catch the metro via the coast up to Monkseaton. Now, unfortunately, as it was the school holidays, the sun was shining and it was mid-afternoon, the trains were absolutely rammed with families and children, which made filming absolutely impossible. The walk between South Shields Metro Station and the ferry landing is literally only 5 to 10 minutes. It is also very well signposted. And that is where we are heading. Once on board, there is plenty of seating inside and out, of course weather depending. The ferry service operate a regular 30-minute frequency from both sides, and it takes just under 10 minutes to cross. It is also used by around 500,000 passengers per year. Back on dry land, North Shields metro station is just a 5 to 10 minute walk up a very steep bank, so bear that in mind. From here, and before we go to the pub, we'll take a look at the coastal stops of Tynemouth, Cullercoats and Whitley Bay to see what they offer. The first stop is Tynemouth and its magnificent canopy. The station was originally opened on the 7th of July 1882 and joined the Tyne and Wear network on the 11th of August 1980 with the opening of the first phase. A weekly market is also held at the station every Saturday and Sunday, which also doubles up as a farmers market once a month. Outside the station, Tynemouth Front Street has many bars, restaurants and cafes. There's also a number of beaches, including King Edward's Bay, and Tynemouth Long Sands. Next up is Cullercoats. There is also another beach here, Cullercoats Bay, and a number of bars, restaurants and cafes. The last stop of the day before we head back up to Monkston is Whitley Bay. Again, a short walk from the station, you have shops, bars, cafes and restaurants. There is also another beach, and if you can handle a 2 mile or so walk, at the end of the beach there is St Mary's Lighthouse. But be aware, it is tidal and the causeway does get covered. And finally we pull into Monkston, where I'll give some final thoughts, but remember that these are just my own opinions. As for the Tyne and Wear metro system itself, I really do like it. It's great for the area as over 13 million people use it annually, and it's easy to get around. It also links city life to coastal communities and makes further travel easier with links to both Newcastle Airport and Newcastle Central Station. Today's fare was only £5.90 or £6.30 in peak time, and that's for limited use of all metros, ferries, some buses and some northern services between Sunderland, Newcastle and Ashington, which I find great value for money. New Class 555s are a great addition and a much needed upgrade. However, that said, I'll still be sad to see the older stock retired. If you do visit Newcastle for whatever reason, don't just stay in the city centre, explore what this part of the region has to offer, and using the Tyne and Wear Metro is a great way to just do that. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't yet or just new to the channel, then please do hit that subscribe button. But until next time, until our paths cross again, do take care, stay safe. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.